All right, welcome everyone. Batman Matt Marr, welcome to another episode of Football Focus Weekly. Tonight we're going to have Huskies head coach Matt Jenkins starting off the show. Excuse me. Then we're going to get into the Dirty Dozen. We're going to get into our county rankings. We're going to get into the CMS Best To Last. We're going to have offensive coordinator Breon Holmes for the Ardrey Kell Knights. We're going to get into our Week 2 Blitz previews. And then we're going to get into the slime and all the fun stuff we always do. So sit back, relax, enjoy refreshing body armor as we get ready to start Week 2 of Football Focus Weekly. Once I find the video. Here we go. I'm sliming this week is snow tubing. Snow tubing, number one, is not made for men of my stature. I can't deal with this Man 21 game, man. It's so terrible.
Y'all act like football stops being played when y'all leave Mecklenburg County. We play football here in Cabarrus County too. And then even though it was raining, I was rolling around in the yard doing freaking grass angels out there.
Hallelujah!
Hey.
Oh my God!
Hey, all I'm gonna say is make sure your wife, your girlfriends, your mistress, look, I'm back.
See, I got my hat on backwards. And it ain't because I'm a G either. It's because I'm angry. I'm going to tell y'all why I'm angry.
So I'm gonna have to start. This is gonna be a large group of people. So I might have to walk around with like a slime gun or a slime cannon, or maybe put some slime in like an old school super soaker.
Joe Hughes! Joe Hughes! Cowboy Joe! You know it's a big night if Cowboy Joe's here. My goodness.
Y'all always put me on blast first, man. Who am I sliming? Good question.
All right, once again, good evening, everyone. This is the Pet Man, Matt Marr. Welcome to Week 2 of Football Focus Weekly. In Season 3, I mean, we had a fun Week 1. We're going to recap that as we do our rankings. Joining us so far, we still have more guests and panelists to join us, but we have the engine, Kenneth McClamrock. Howdy, sir.
What's up, Pep? How you, brother?
Oh, man, I'll let you know how I am in the slime. What a day. And then the Queen is here with us. Good evening.
What's going on?
Not much. We got 2 comments already. Tommy Wilson, howdy. We'll get to that profile picture. I like that, man. That's a nice tribute. And then Kyle Smith, internet football king, saying what's up. So, I y'all can't say hey to Kenneth.
No love.
Man's got a little love. Why is it not showing? I'm trying to put it on the screen. What in the world? There we go. All right, Professor. Good gracious. He didn't want me to show it. My Lord. All right.
Appreciate it, sir.
There we go. All right, so we're going to lead off with Coach Jenkins. I'm checking to see what's going on. He's not with us just yet, but when he joins, we will get him on the show. But for now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to our rankings. We have several this season. From all reports that I got, everyone loved the Dirty Dozen. So we're going to start with the Dirty Dozen, which is, and I forgot to say this, it is sponsored by the Queen City Senior Bowl. And the reason why is it involves the counties that the Queen City Senior Bowl selects from. Gaston, Mecklenburg, Union, Cabarrus, and Cleveland County. So we're looking at the best teams in those areas. So we're going to get that on the screen. Let's see. change that real quick. Little technical issue here. Got that going. All right. And here we go. All right. So on the screen, you see the top 12 teams we got this week. So, and then we got the results that they had in week 1. So number 1 still is Chambers. Close win over Gibbons, 35-29. It's a crazy circumstance with that game. If you guys are watching this, you understand the circumstances around that. I think we're going to get a much better overall feel for that team when they're playing at Highland Springs in Virginia on Saturday, 3 o'clock this weekend. Number 2, we have the Hough Huskies with a nice, impressive win over Myers Park in the Charlotte Kickoff Classic. South Mech, but they were able to pull that win out. Number 3, we have Charlotte Catholic with the 13-6 victory over South Mech. They really kind of cinched that game with a great drive to kind of put them up 2 scores. South Mech got it within 1 touchdown late in the game, but they kind of ran out of time on that one. So number 4, we have Butler, who defeated Oceanside. That was a late game that they kind of put together at the last minute. They won 34-0 over Oceanside, coming out of the Charleston area. It's kind of a charter school situation there, but an impressive victory nonetheless for the Bulldogs. Number 5, we got Hickory Ridge. They defeated Hunter Huss in a score that kind of surprised some people. 68-13. Hickory Ridge putting up 68 points. Really strong performance by those guys, and they're going into a big game we're going to preview in a little bit against Charlotte Catholic. And then number 6, we have Shelby. They're in the top half of the Dirty Dozen now. A big win over Kings Mountain. A lot of emotion in that game. We saw some things that went on that happens between rival guys, rival teams. But nonetheless, impressive win for Shelby. That bumps them up to number 6 in the top half of the Dirty Dozen. So, guys, what are your thoughts on those top 6 teams there?
Yeah, I think you've got a great top 6 there, Pep. Obviously, I think Shelby is going to want to be in that top 5. They believe that they should be in that top 5. But Hickory Ridge, Butler, Charlotte Catholic, Hough, Chambers, it's a pretty good top 5 group.
Good deal.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ken. I'm gonna need Shelby to win some more though before we can let them crack the top 5. I know I have a lot of people talking about Shelby's squad coming after me after some comments I made last week, but it is what it is. For me, it's about show and tell. So win more games and you'll move up higher. So we'll see.
All right. So of course, Coach Webb has some thoughts. What's up, Engine and Pep? I don't know if I can tell the Queen what's up until rankings are over. Okay. Well, there you go.
See, already.
Joe Hughes chiming in. We'll find out a lot about Burns this week against Crest. Absolutely. That's a big game in the Cleveland County area. But before I continue, let me address what Tommy's talking about. Hashtag Dutch Fort Strong, and then LJ Jones with some nice words, prayers for Dutch Fort. If you're not aware, if you're watching the show, you probably are aware, but if you're not aware, let me go solo on this. Dutch Fort unfortunately had a young man that passed while in the middle of football practice earlier this week, and there's nothing worse, as dealing with that from all perspectives, a football team, a coach, a school, then that's a really, really rough situation. So, on behalf of all of us, at Football Focus Weekly, we send our prayers and our thoughts, to the Dutch Fort family. They have canceled their game with Gaffney, rightfully so. But that's just a tragic situation, and we want to send our thoughts and prayers, to that program and everyone affiliated with Dutch Fort for sure. All right. That being said, we're going to change up a little bit. We are going to bring a great man. Has done some great things, throughout his career with football. We're going to talk to him a little bit, not only about Hough, but about, his background and let you guys kind of get to know him. So let me back up. There we go. Coach, what's up,
Coach.
man? How you doing?
Matt, how are you, man? I'm sorry about the miscommunication there, man. I'm at a little softball practice right now.
Hey, man, you're good. You're good. We appreciate you, just making time for us. We've seen you, graduate and be on the other shows. And, now I'm glad you're able to make a little time for Football Focus Weekly. So it's good.
Hey, I always have time for you. McClam Rock, not so much. But you like
I understand that. Totally. So let's start off with last week, man. Big win for your guys, over Myers Park in the Kickoff Classic, man. So how are you feeling about, this year's team so far?
I thought we played pretty well. We obviously can play better. Week 1, the biggest gains you normally make in a season is between week 1 and week 2, improvement-wise. And so we've had a good week of practice this week and had to clean some things up that we made mistakes on Thursday night that we were able to get away with and get the win. But, we're excited about the potential of the team. But right now it's just potential. We've got to continue to get better each day. And I think the guys understand that and they're excited about that process.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You had several players stand out in that game. Isaiah Brown Murray, we had him number 1, DB in our CMS Best ranking, had a great tip interception on the goal line. And then your 2 running backs, JT Smith and Xavier Turner Knox, had big games. I want to ask you about Tad Hudson. We were there when he got his first start down in the playoffs against Richmond County and, performed really well. His commitment to Carolina is awesome. What are some things you can tell us that, some people may not know, about that young man on the field?
I don't know if I can tell you something that people don't know. He's a great kid, and he cares about football. He cares about his teammates. And I think that's a great quality to have as a quarterback. He's as excited about his teammates' success as he is his own. And again, I think it's a genuine part of him that maybe people don't know about him. It's a great family. He's working hard to become a better quarterback each day, each week. And, I think he takes being a quarterback and playing football serious. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely. Very good, man. So you talked about this team being, a very talented team, obviously off to a good start. You got some things to work on. What is the thing that you think this team, could potentially have that, some of your teams in the past, have not had that can, kind of make a difference when you get down, to playoff time, things of that nature?
I don't know. I think a lot of times it's, team that wins it in the end is the one that stays healthy. The one that gets the breaks, gets a call here or a call there. The ball bounces this way, the ball bounces that way. And I know that's kind of a cop-out in some ways.
No, you're good.
But truthfully, that's how it is. And so, it's we've got some talented kids. There's no doubt about it offensively. Besides Tad and the running backs, JT and Xavier, Markel and Daryl Taylor had great games, Thursday night. They both played very, very well. We're a young offensive line overall, but I think, we're not as big as we normally are up front, but I think maybe we're a little more athletic up front, which is going to allow us to do some things blocking scheme-wise that we maybe haven't been able to do in the past. I think defensively, I think this may be as fast as we've ever been. On the defensive side of the ball, as an entire group. Obviously, losing Curtis, who's probably the best player in the state defensively, hurts.
Absolutely.
He's a great kid. He was a great leader. But Deshaun Davis has stepped up into that role up front. He played great. Thursday night. You know, I thought Brandon Palmer had a great game. I agree with you. You know, if Isaiah is not the best DB in the city, he's right there, and I can give you 4 or 5 others, you know, that are in our secondary that are going to be right up there as well. That we're really excited about. So you know, I think maybe we're as fast as we've ever been overall in the team. You know, and then again, I think our special teams will. You know, the fake punt I called probably wasn't a great idea Thursday night, but you know, I think we'll get the punt team short up, and I think Nolan gives us a weapon that a lot of schools don't have.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. We had him as our best kicker too. So, good stuff, man. So, a lot of people don't know, you know, about your background. You know, you've coached in college, you've coached, you know, out in the West Coast and Vegas and those kind of things. How would you rank North Carolina football compared to some of the other places you've been?
It's right up there. You know, I think especially at the top. You know, I think our good teams can go and compete anywhere in the country. You know, against anybody. You know, the as you kind of go down this, I mean, I think it's all relative. You know, that way. You know, I think, you know, we're better than we were in Vegas. You know, as far as overall football ability, the coaching, the kids' ability.
Okay.
Southern California, you know, it's back when I was there wasn't as many schools. There were still a ton of schools, but there wasn't quite as many as there is now. Like, for example, where I coached at in Redlands, there was 2 high schools at the time. Now there's 3.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a 4th, and so they're expanding. You know, and so that dilutes the talent a little bit. You know, and they've got Catholic schools out there that can recruit freely and get kids all over the place. And I mean, heck, they announce those things in the LA Times. You know, when kids leave one school to go to another, and so. You know, but I think our upper echelon teams can go out there and we can compete with them. You know, now are we going to win state titles out there? You know, in Texas or Florida or California? I don't know. You know, because there's Modern Day and St. John Bosco are pretty good football teams. That's why they're ranked, you know, 1 and 2 or 1 and 6 in the country. However, we figure out those rankings, I have no idea still to this day. But you know, I would put North Carolina up there. I mean, we've got to be one of the top 10 states in the country for high school football, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, you see that with, you know, in the high school football America rankings for what you can, you know, quantify them for. We have 3 teams. You have Chambers, you guys, and Charlotte Catholic. So, you know,
right.
Hey, that you know, backs up what you say right there. We're going to bring on a good friend of yours that you referenced earlier, Kenneth McClamrock, and he's got a question or 2 for you, Coach. So I'll let him come on and take up a couple minutes of time.
Yeah, for the record, I'll just go ahead and put it out there. The lack of communication, the mix-up of communication was my fault. I thought Coach Jenkins said he was free until 8:35, and he told me that he couldn't do anything until 8:35. So that was on me. Coach, man, one of my best friends for a long time, one of my closest coaching friends for sure for the last 10 years. A lot of people know that if you go to Hough High School, you're going to have a really good chance to get recruited. And I think a lot of people in the outside world think that that's because of the type of player that you get. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Matt Jenkins is working his butt off. Coach, can you just share a little bit about what that looks like for you? What you as Matt Jenkins, the coach getting kids into college, looks like?
You know, well, number one, they have to be talented. Let's not, you know, they've got to have the ability to play. They've got to have the height, the weight, all those kind of things. But, you know, we tell our kids here, if they want to play in college, there's a chance that we can get you in, even based off ability. There's usually a spot for almost anybody, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA. You know, I think the biggest thing that we do here is we have those conversations with the kids early about what's important to them. You know, the academic needs that they need, the financial aid need that they need to have, where they want to go, you know, where they're willing to go. I think those are all really important questions because anybody can throw a net in the ocean and catch a fish. But if you're trying to catch a certain type of fish, you've got to kind of have some idea of how to do that. And so, you know, and I don't do it myself. I've got a bunch of assistants that work really hard for the kids too when it comes to college relationships and developing those relationships with college coaches. You know, it's a daily thing There's not a day that doesn't go by that I haven't talked to maybe 2 or 3 college coaches daily. Whether it's just, Phil Longo, who needs to talk to Tad Hudson at noon, right? Because he can't text Tad yet. And so it's, hey, can you have Tad call me at noon? Or it's, FIU calling about a player. And so it's understanding those needs and then reaching out to colleges and making sure that they have the film they need, they have the transcripts they need. We answer questions that need to get answered. But a lot of it is the legwork ahead of time. It is really understanding the fit for the player, and everybody's fit different. Everybody's timing's different, and people don't understand that. Social media has ruined recruiting, college recruiting, because everybody sees they see offers that are sent out there and they think everybody's getting one, when the reality is very few people are actually getting offers. When you have 1 million kids that play high school football. And so everybody's time's different. One kid may get offers early in 9th grade as a sophomore. Another kid may not get offers at the end of his junior year, going into his senior year, because of his development. And so I just think that we do a pretty good job of having those meetings early with kids, letting them know how the process works, making sure that we get them into the right college camps in the summer. And then that we communicate with those colleges, let them know that they're coming so that they can be evaluated. And then we have those conversations and follow-up conversations with schools of where these kids need to improve in order to get offers. And then we work to develop those skill sets. And, it's you got to love to do it, though, because it can be a ton of work, and you take time away from your family, and you have to have an understanding family that knows that, hey, sometimes you're on the phone for a half hour, 45 minutes at night, right after you get home from practice. But you've got to have those conversations for the young men.
Coach, one more, because I saw a picture today. Of course, if you don't know, Coach Jenkins has beautiful twin daughters. I've got twin boys, so we always had that in common. Coach, I saw where you got to ride to school with your girls today for the first time, man. What was that like?
It was interesting. It was interesting. I missed that. I didn't hear what you said.
I know something's going on. I said, what was the car ride like with your girls today? First time going to school together.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I left college football because I knew the type of dad that I wanted to be.
Sorry, my internet must be messing up. I don't know.
Well, I think it's just there's something in the air with storms and craziness tonight. So we're gonna put Coach Jenkins in the background and see if that might fix it. But those are excellent questions, Kenneth. If we get Coach Jenkins back, we'll bring him back. But if we don't, then we'll move on. I think that was pretty good. We appreciate Coach Jenkins taking some time out of his schedule to come on the show with us. He's doing a great job with those Huskies. Number 2 in our Dirty Dozen. A big win over Myers Park last week in the Charlotte Kickoff Classic. So Coach Jenkins also is out there at softball practice. Took some time out of his busy schedule. Let's see if we got him back. Coach, we got you back.
Yeah, I can hear you, Matt.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
All right, so maybe we don't have you.
I
think there's a little.
I can hear you.
Okay. What was it like taking your girls to school this morning, Coach?
It was fun. Like I was saying, I left college football, many years ago, even way before they were born, because I knew the type of dad I wanted to be. I enjoyed coaching, but I knew the dad I wanted to be. And part of that was having those experiences and being able to be a softball practice right now, as opposed to, recruiting or in a meeting room right now, watching practice film after a college practice. And I wanted to be involved in their lives, or whatever kids I had, if I was lucky enough to have children in their lives. And because that's the most important job you have in this world, in my being a father. And whether it's a father to your own kids or father to your players, that's the most important gig I have, that's for sure. And so it was fun, we were online all last year when they were ninth graders, so we got to drive into school today, hung out in my office until the first period, and then off they went. And I saw them at the end of the day, and they're trying to avoid me in the hallways, and I do everything I can to embarrass them.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, Coach, we're gonna let you go back and coach softball. I mean, I think that's great, man. That you can be able to, divvy up that time and be a father as well as a great coach for a great team at you have at Hough this year. And we'll see you real soon, man. We'll be at a game, and I'll be able to catch up with you and talk like we always do.
Awesome. I look forward to it, Matt. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
All right. So that was Coach Matt Jenkins once again. I'm glad he was able to take some time out of his busy schedule. Obviously, being a great dad and being a great coach for the Hough Huskies, number 2 in the Dirty Dozen, which is what we're going to get back to right now. Bear with us here. All right, there we go. I'll get Kenneth back on, and we'll get the crew back. Once they get back on the show here. But anyway, we looked at the top half of the dozen, and everyone kind of felt good about that. So the bottom half, got number 7. We got Myers Park. They lost to Hough in that kickoff classic game, the nightcap of that. But I think they played well at times. There's some things that I think they have to shore up a little bit, but going up against a team like Hough, it's good early because you can kind of figure out exactly where your holes are, work on those, and then work to get better. They have an interesting matchup that came together last minute. They're playing at Clover this week. And I know we don't talk about Clover much on here, but I know Joe Hughes knows about Clover. That's in his wheelhouse, so hopefully Joe can give us a little insight on those guys. The Queen's back. We'll get her on. Number 8 at Weddington. They had a big win over Charlotte Christian, 13-7. In a matchup of 2 teams ranked in the Dirty Dozen, defensive, low-scoring game. We had Michael McGarver pop up out there. Producer's ready. Bring him on. Michael McGarver just kind of went out there, and I didn't even know he was going. He got some great pictures. Those are on our Facebook page if you want to check those out. And he gave us a little insight to that game on Friday Night Live. So if you don't know, we do a Friday night show as well, kind of in this same format where we're talking about the games that have just been played. And he gave us some great insight into that one. So we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Number 9, we have Burns, who had an 8-6 win over Forest View. I was a little surprised at that score, but, week one's a little funny. Both teams have really good defenses, but that's a good win for them. Number 10 is Providence State. They did not play this week, but they are playing Weddington this week as And I tell you, you talk about a shocking score. 37, I think it was 37-6 was the final. I think Monroe got one late, but Marvin Ridge, what an impressive victory. And no one's talking about them. I thought that score would send some shockwaves, but they got my respect. They're number 11 in the dozen. And then number 12, still Charlotte Christian. Obviously a 6-point loss to Weddington on the road in week one is pretty strong. So what do you guys think on that second half of the dozen right there?
Well, I mean, I think, for Myers Park, no one's that surprised. I'm almost afraid to talk because I feel like anything I say is going to be nitpick. But I do feel like it was, I think that was a closer scoring game. So, definitely interested to see what they do this week. Outside of that, I don't really have anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the big shocker to a lot of people is that Marvin Ridge score versus Monroe. Monroe, an excellent football team. We've talked about them repeatedly on the show, but Marvin Ridge came out and played their butts off week 1. So shout out to Marvin Ridge. Just continues to say what I've said for a long time. Union County football is good, and football outside CMS is good. Charlotte Christian, man, you go up against Weddington. Weddington's pretty stinking good. To lose in the way that game went, I imagine will wake those players up. It will rejuvenate those players, and they'll come out fired up for the rest of the year. Myers Park, I still don't know if we really know who they are yet. Week 1 loss versus Hough. They're still dealing with the transition that we've talked about. They're probably still having guys move in from California maybe. So we'll see how all that settles out over the next 9 weeks.
Got anything on the dozen?
I think I fully support, Myers Park and Christian still being there, especially with them losing the other teams in the dozen. So, I don't think you should slide too much if you lose to another top 12 team. We'll see what Providence days gives us, but, obviously you weren't going to see much shifting on that left side. They pretty much won games they were supposed to win for the most part. And then on the right, you got only 2 losses, and they lost the other team, top 12. So I think it looks good for now. We'll see. Once upsets and things start happening, that may shake things up quite a bit. But for now, it's not too unpredictable yet.
I'm going to address this comment. Mark Wayne Petty, where does Kings Mountain fit in here? I want you to tell me that. Tell me where you would have Kings Mountain after they lost to Shelby in week 1.
Yeah, who would you take out?
So, see, on this show, you got to come with some facts because we're going to call you out. So, you just can't make comments and just expect us to just not talk about them. So, there you go. Webb, you watching? You handle that, please. All right. Next, I'll talk about the county ranking. Now, you want Kings Mountain. They're on the county rankings, so there you go. All right, so week 2 county rankings. We got Mecklenburg County, got Chambers, Hough, Catholic, and Butler. No real changes there. Gaston County, we got South Point, Ashbrook. Mountain Island moves up a spot with their big win over Anson County. And then Forest View, close loss to Burns. I'm not going to take them out of the top 4. Cabarrus County, we got Hickory Ridge. I kept Mount Pleasant at 2. I thought a shutout win over Central was strong enough to keep them at 2. J.M. Robinson shutout win over Concord at 3. And then Cox Mill with the win over Hopewell, keeping them at number 4. Cleveland County, we got Shelby with the win over Kings Mountain. Burns at 2 and wins over Forest View. Crest did not play last week. They keep them at 3. Well, actually, they move up to 3 because Kings Mountain slides to 4 after their loss.
Ninjas got him.
Upperson with the win over Parkwood goes to number 4. And then in the upstate, really interesting stuff. So South Point defeated Northwestern 40-35. Big win for them. Number 1 in the upstate. Catawba Ridge with the big win over Fort Mill 35-0. They're at 2. Northwestern with the loss drops to 3. And then Indian Land getting the win over Nation Ford. They go to number 4. And Nation Ford drops out of the upstate rankings. So what do you guys think about those?
Yeah, I think you're right on it, Cap. I think obviously a huge game this week that's going to move some places. Potentially is the Hickory Ridge versus Charlotte Catholic game. That will definitely maybe move the meter, and we have a little bit clearer idea after 2 weeks of football. But we still have some teams that we want to see. South Point over 530 yards of total offense versus Northwestern the other night, showing the power of not just the 704, because of course there's so many Charlotte guys down there, but also friends of our show who work your camps, have been to your camps. Marvin Ridge, is Marvin Ridge is number 3 in your county ranking, but you don't have Porter Ridge in your dirty dozen, Pat.
That's a good catch. I might get some Porter Ridge hate on that one. But hey, I'm not perfect. There you go.
They've got a big game this week. Who is Porter Ridge playing this week?
That's a good question. I'll effort that. Queen and producer, you guys got any thoughts on the county rankings?
Just that's a great observation by Mr. McClain right there. That, yeah,
I mean, the professor for a reason.
yeah, you're gonna create that's a little mini controversy right there.
For me, I think I'm just, I need some more. I like to see some more football. Well, obviously, some more football so we can, I guess, separate the top from the not so good team. So we'll see.
Okay. All right, good stuff. We gotta let's see. Yeah. Oh, wait, that's not what I want. That one. Yeah, Damien. Yeah. Thank you, Damien. Puerto Ridge fan, for all disclosure. Puerto Ridge fan. Puerto Ridge does have West Cabarrus. Thank you for that, Damien, as well. Thank you for the assist, sir. And that is a big
put
game.
Up by accident was interesting though.
Well, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, South Point, unfortunately they're going to be out with COVID issues. It's one of those things, man. It's affecting everyone. No one is immune. I think, Ken, if you said it before when we were doing our preseason stuff, that is going to be the biggest opponent is COVID. Can you find games? Are you going to take a forfeit? That all those things, and it's variable. It's variable. And one of the things that, I'd like to briefly discuss real quick is we got to have some regulations step in over this, man. Right now, literally, it's like scheduling 7-on-7 in the summer. You got teams just posting, hey, are you available Friday? There's no system to any of this. Teams are playing, and kudos to Butler and Oceanside last week, but teams are playing with 1 day notice. This stuff is crazy, man. We got to get, the state associations to come out with some regulations, some standards, some rules, behind how all of this is working, because right now, no one has any clue, and we're just all flying by the seat of our pants. We're all getting texts every day, hey, do you know it's
Got him again.
Go ahead, Kenneth.
I agree with you, Pep. One of the big problems that I have. Good night, Coach Ward.
There you go.
Providence with a huge game this week. South Met, I believe, is at home at Providence. Huge game this week. But Pep, one of the big problems that I have with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, we talked about this a few weeks ago, is that they don't always seem to have guidance for their member schools. This is one of the reasons why the state legislature was saying they're going to take them over, because the North Carolina High School Athletic Association wasn't stepping up and making decisions when decisions needed to be made. And now here we are with teams who are literally on days' notice, on hours' notice, trying to find games. There were teams last Friday morning who were tweeting out, is anyone looking for a game for tonight at 7 o'clock? And as a coach, you've already bought your pregame meal. As a coach, you've already gotten your buses ordered. As a coach, you've already lined up all of the logistics that occurs at games. As athletic directors, you've got the food truck and the icy man coming. You've got officials. Pep, I talked to an official today who said that he just had his second game of the season canceled. He was canceled last week due to COVID, and he's canceled as of right now for this Friday at COVID. It's not just football teams that are being impacted by this. It's the ices and the food trucks and the boosters and the concession stands and the bands that are having to make adjustments as well. It's crazy. The state has got to come in and set some kind of regulation. They've got to step up. They've known that this was coming. This isn't a surprise. We had the same issue back in March and April.
Yep.
So why do they not have a plan in place? I think that question needs to be asked.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk more about that.
We lost Pep again. But
Got to reinstall that AOL CD, man.
tell you what, man,
Hey.
that dial-up is going crazy.
You got to reinstall your AOL.
It's been a challenging day, and this just adds to it. We've got
Coach Ward. I want to know, Coach Ward, man, because the game I was going to this week got canceled. Coach Ward, I'm looking for a game to go, but I come with 2 8-year-old boys. And Coach Ward, get me in the game with 2 8-year-old boys to watch. They're going to have the time of their life, and they eat a lot of food at the concession stand. Coach Ward, let me know.
That being said, we're going to break out our next guest. And thank you guys for bearing with us. It's been crazy. We got all kind of technical issues, and oh, man, what a day. All right, but anyway, our next guest is ready to go. He's the offense coordinator for the Ardrey Knights. His name is Breon Holmes. We're going to bring him on the show right now. Coach, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Pep, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know you guys just got off the practice field, so
yes, sir.
Once again, I really appreciate it. We're talking about this COVID stuff, and I know you guys, have had, challenges like everybody else, man. I mean, what do you do as a coach when we're dealing with all this, and how do you adjust your plan and everything? I mean, how did you deal with it?
Man, I think right now it's just been like a day-to-day basis. Your personnel can change with a snap of a finger. So it's the whole coaching staff just coming together to come up with a plan. You get put in a situation where you have a lot of offensive guys that, may have to sit out due to COVID. You're going to have some defensive guys going. So it's really everybody kind of, being in a two-part effort, multiple guys going both ways. Those are some things we've been trying to do here at RGL, just to try to make sure that if something happens, we can kind of fill some gaps. Although, those gaps are very thin, I think that it's a group effort. I think, we went through our situation. We were up all night trying to figure out how we could play. When it came down to when we couldn't, that just was the outcome of our situation.
Flexibility and, developing guys on both sides of the ball, like you said, that makes a lot of sense. So talk to us about, Ardrey Kell offensively. You're new to the role this year. What are some things we can expect from you guys, with the football in your hands?
Well, for us offensively, it wasn't a wholesale change. I thought, Coach James, leaving us, he left us in good hands. So we kept a lot of the concepts that we ran last year. Our personnel is a lot different, because we had 3 talented receivers, so we could kind of spread it out a lot more and throw it around a lot. We have some young guys, some young receivers, but as far as the offense, it's not going to look too much different. It may look a little bit different when it comes to in the run game, just due to, again, having some young receivers, having to kind of personnel change it to kind of get us to run the ball a little bit better. But other than that, I was just blessed to be in this position, to step in the role once Coach James left. Like I said, I learned a lot from him, and having Coach Harmon on really kind of helped, because, he came in right away. And like I said, some people think about a leader leaving the program and coming to be an assistant, they may think that they're trying to take over. It was never nothing like that. I think the best thing he's done was cultivate the relationships with the staff and the kids in a fast pace, but he's also been a major sounding board for me. So, offensively, we'll look similar to what we did last year. We still got Jack Curtis, which is very, very important. He's a crucial component. And we got some young guys that's ready to step up to some roles that those older guys left.
All right, very good. And then speaking of Jack Curtis, that was my next question. We've been watching Jack. Well, I've been watching Jack for a couple years, ever since his JV days. And, I always felt like he was going to be, a really, really talented quarterback, one of the best in the area. I think he is, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily, shout him out, like I think he should be celebrated. What is the best thing, in your opinion, about Jack Curtis?
I think the best thing for him right now is just the way he stepped up and been a leader. We all know that he has the accuracy, the arm strength to make a lot of the throws that you see guys make on Saturdays, right? But more importantly, he's been able to adapt his skills to the skill sets of his receiver. So I think the adaptability has been a major thing, which, you have to be adaptable when you translate to the college level. I think whoever gets him, they're going to get a diamond in the rough, because he's a humble young man, and you tell him to do something one time, he's going to do it. He's also a student of the game, so he has a high IQ. So that makes the offense run smoother than what it really looks like.
Very good, man. So talk to us a little bit about your background. I mean, stepping into the OC role, what's kind of your background, offensively, and then where do you want to go? Do you see yourself, progressing to be a head coach one day? What do you, just from a career perspective, what does your progression look like in your opinion?
Okay, well, I started off coaching because I'm originally from Statesville, North Carolina. So I went back to my old high school and I started off coaching on the defensive side of the ball. And the crazy thing about this has only been my second year on the offensive side of the ball. I played offensive line in college at Methodist University in Fayetteville. I then transitioned up here where I kind of met Brandon Billups. I got my first coaching job in Charlotte at Hopewell. And then from there, I got linked up with Coach Hales, who was a blessing. He actually passed my information to Adam Hastings, which I coached with Adam Hastings at Providence Day for 2 years before transitioning over here. So I was a tight ends coach and special teams coordinator at Ardrey, not Ardrey, excuse me, but at Providence Day. And I transitioned over here as the offensive line coach. And once Coach James kind of made his transition, I was promoted. And then to answer your second question, I would love to be a head coach one day, but I always keep the main thing. The main thing is that's being the best where I'm at right now and doing the best that I can. I'm in the position I'm in. I feel like if you do your best job at the position you're in, your work will get noticed, and eventually, what you foresee happening will happen. I truly believe that God, placed me, in this place for a reason. I'm just grateful to have this opportunity.
Absolutely. That's well said, man. Very good. You mentioned, Coach Billups, and I'm sorry for that.
Too well, man.
I think my connection went out. Coach, what's a PG story you can tell us about Coach Billups and some of your experiences with him?
Pep, I don't have any PG stories. If I had a PG story, I could tell one, but I don't have too many PG stories for Brandon Billups, man. I can say he's the most misunderstood nice guy that you can ever run into.
We love him. And I'm picking on him because he said he was going to be here. He was excited that, you were coming on the show. And, I know he's out there coaching and, doing a heck of a job, with Garrett, trying to get them, back on the path. But, man, let me ask you this. We were just talking about, the state trying to step in and, give us some regulations about, how to handle all this stuff with schedule changes and, trying to find games and, all this stuff with COVID-19. Is there something more that, a state association or a local jurisdiction, could do to help you guys out when you're dealing with all this stuff?
I wish they could. I think all the stuff that they had to go through last year, maybe one of the reasons why they hindered to doing something. I do think that if there were some protocols put into place, man, it would be some type of clarity. Right now, that's the thing, that there really isn't any clarity on what is supposed to happen when something happens. So that's why I feel like you have a lot of teams scrambling for games, at the last minute, because they don't know what is close contact. How long do you really have to sit out? Like, what happens with COVID? When do they come back? If the kid's vaccinated, what happens if they're in close contact? You got all these, questions that really have a lot of different answers to them, right? So I think if there was some type of, solidified protocol on how to do things, it would make it a lot easier, and also make it a little bit more organized for us as coaches and coaches around the state having to scavenge for games and things like that.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with that, man. Look out for that, maybe we don't know about just yet.
You broke up. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, sure. There's going to be some, different guys you mentioned, new, younger guys stepping into different roles this year for you. Who are some guys that you feel like are going to be important to you that we may not know about just yet?
So we have a senior, Andrew Wagner, who's kind of stepped up. He was in the shadows for a long time to some good guys. He's had great leadership. I look for him to have a great year. We have some guys coming up from JV, receiver-wise, Ethan Persetti, who I feel like he's a dynamic player that a lot of people are going to like and love to watch. Dalen Tony Ellis, who was a basketball player, who's kind of served in multiple roles on the offense. I think he's going to be a Swift Army knife for us. And then we have Wyatt Hendricks as well as Chase McShane. And I could go on and on. I would say the whole offense, to be honest, just because I believe and I have that much confidence in all those guys when they're on the field. But those are just a few guys who I feel like I have a standout season.
Very good. Very good. Now I do have one more question for you, Coach, from our Kenneth McClamrock, and I'm gonna bring him on right now so he can chat with you.
Coach Holmes, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Coach?
I'm well. I'll tell you what, ever since I posted that you were going to be on the show tonight, my messages blew up with Coach Holmes as my guy. Coach Holmes is my dude. I was like, holy cow, I can't wait to see this dude, man. Like, I was getting excited reading all the great things that people had to say about you. So I've got a quick question from you, Coach. You mentioned you were from Statesville. You mentioned some pretty stinking good coaches that you've worked with in your young career. What's one coach or who is one coach that has really impacted who you are either as a man or as a young coach?
I'll have to go with two. One is Greg Stewart, who is currently the defensive coordinator at Statesville High School. He coached me, and then when I came back to coach, I was up under him, and I just learned how to be a professional, how to conduct yourself, what hard work actually looks like. Because we all think we work hard until you actually see, the guys that you, yes sir, until you actually get in those roles. And then Sonny Schofield also, he's a Statesville legend. Just retired as being a basketball coach, as AD up there. Just seeing him, how he carried himself, conducted himself. And I remember when I left Statesville to leave, come up to Charlotte, he told me never to lose myself. And it always stuck with me. So I would say those two men had a major role impact in my coach career. I can't leave out Adam Hastings, man. He was really, really a big influence in me getting to where I am today. And I thank God for him, placing that guy in my life, because I know without, being up under him, a lot of these opportunities I've had, I wouldn't have.
Well, Coach, just from the people who said such good things about you, I'm pulling for you because those are all people who I respect. So good luck this season.
Appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Once again, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, right after practice. This says a lot, to me about who you are as a man, character-wise. You carry yourself like you're going to be a future head coach, and I think you will. Hopefully we get over to an Ardrey Kell game soon. We can talk in person. But, Coach Billups said good things about you. I know you're a good man.
I appreciate it. And I just want to give a shout out to Coach Jackham as well. His work doesn't go unnoticed, man. And he is, a guy that believed in me. And he told me when his transition happened, I was going to be his guy. And he probably could have had other opportunities to bring other people along, but he didn't. He's one of those guys that don't say much. He's not really out there in the media, but his impact that he has in his community and on these kids is phenomenal. And then what he has on us as coaches. So I couldn't do this without him. So I just wanted to shout him out before, I can close tonight.
Absolutely. And you're exactly right. I remember the time I came over there to interview guys in person before COVID. He was like, man, just talk to the kids. I was like, Coach, come on, man. We got to talk to you, man. Myers Park, and I had some great schemes, and I know my connection is probably messing up, but
yeah, I heard a little bit, but it's all good.
It's a crazy day, man. But yeah, Coach Jockham, respect the heck out of him. He's a really good guy to talk to, man. And
yes, sir.
Appreciate that shout out. I know he appreciates it too. But once again, Coach, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Appreciate the time. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. All right, that was Breon Holmes, offensive coordinator for Ardrey Kell Knights. Well-spoken. I think he's got a bright future, obviously, in this game of football. Technical issues aside, it's been a great show. We've already talked with Coach Jenkins over at Hough earlier, if you missed that. We went through the dozen. We went through the county rankings. Now we're getting ready to do the CMS Best To Last. So we're going to bring the panel back that's here tonight, and we're going to go through that. So we're going to get that up on the screen, and we're going to take a look at all the teams in CMS. So here we go. All right, here we go. So not too many changes. So on the left side of the screen, Chambers at 1, Huff 2, Butler 3, on down the line. As you mentioned earlier, Kenneth, Providence, and South Meck are playing this week. Heck of a battle, number 5 and number 6 in the Best to Last. Olympic picked up a big win at Sun Valley. They've got Rocky River at home this week. AK obviously has not played yet, but they're gearing up to finally hit the field. I mentioned earlier, someone had a comment, I think it was Karen, about Independence. They're playing Marvin Ridge this week, so that's going to be a big test for those guys as they get ready to get on the field for the first time. Mallard Creek is off again this week. We mentioned they were scheduled to play Myers Park. Myers Park has picked up Clover, so, put 2.
You guys remember when you used to be on America Online and the phone would ring and you get knocked off?
That's exactly it. Dial up, man. The dial up gets you, man. Tell grandma to
Get off the phone. Come on the internet.
I don't know what's going on, man.
Tell grandma to get off the phone, man.
I'm telling you. Anyway, what do you guys think?
First off, let me give a big shout out to Harding. 1-0. Yes. Big shout out to Harding, man. But let's see. I mean, top of the list is about what you'd expect. Like you said, big Olympic had a big win. Anxious to see Ardrey Kell. It's just crazy. Like you say, COVID is the X factor. You got to beat your opponent, and you got to try to beat COVID. So you pretty much have 2 opponents you got to plan for each week, COVID and the other team. So unfortunately, I hate that we didn't get to see Mallard Creek, and guess we're still not. So that's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to stay on that right side. North Meck played A.L. Brown really tight. It'll be interesting to see, is that because North Meck is improved, or is that because A.L. Brown is a little down? I talked to a North Meck coach, and he was really fired up about the way that they played. I talked to A.L. Brown coach. I didn't feel like they gave the best shot. So it'll be interesting to see where North Meck plays out. Of course, Mallard Creek, no one knows because of the situation that we're in right now. Barry, West Charlotte. Did West Charlotte play this past? They didn't play either, did they?
No, they were scheduled off. That wasn't a COVID situation. Their first game will be against Harding this week. But Barry did
Go
play.
West Charlotte!
Welcome to the show, the illustrious Coach
Guys, I'm a parent. I had a class 1 parent emergency child moment. If you're a parent, you already know what I'm talking about. My daughter didn't have a good day in swim class. That's all I can tell you. I had to go there.
Class 1. We got you, man.
But Barry was this connection thing, my lord. But Barry was impressive. They defeated East Meck 27-0 last week. They've got West Meck this week, who beat Montgomery Central on the road 35-28 in overtime.
Comeback victory. Yeah, comeback victory.
Yeah.
It was down.
And nobody was talking about West Meck at all. So, I want to shout them out.
Since we've got the listener, Coach Billington now, 2 Cabarrus County schools played 2 Mecklenburg County schools. Cabarrus County was 2-0 in that. So,
great job, Cabarrus County. Good job. I can't talk bad about nobody after what happened to me on Friday.
Well, we ain't gonna go there, but
nope.
All right,
y'all.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And I know.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I know how deeply hurt McClamrock is seeing that A.L. Brown is down. I know how that much that hurts.
Well, I can't talk bad about A.L. Brown. I gotta be nice.
We all know that A.L. Brown will kind of teeter until I pick against them, and then I'll give them the energy and the motivation to kind of get over that first conference title in more than a decade.
I want to shout out Hopewell too. I think they played well, against Cox Mill.
I heard great things.
Yeah, that they played well under Coach Bird and those guys up there. So,
Now,
uh,
yeah, I missed the hard take because I wanted to shout them out. They look good, and a lot of respect to Coach Van Smith and Coach John LJ over there. Class acts. They're real class acts. You was at the game. Sheree was at the game. She know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of class out because they know about the situation we got over here at the Big Chief. But I didn't want to hide. That's why I came on the show. We're not down. We know the obstacles we got, and we don't get this thing rolling. Coach Galloway is the right man for the job, and we don't get it going, man. I really do love being there as a Wildcat. Things just we just got to deal with some obstacles, but we don't get it rolling. It's not a bad place to play it. We just got to get we got to teach ball.
Those obstacles could have been avoided if CMS stepped up and looked out for their people the way that CMS claims they're going to look out for their people. The number one job of a coach, the number one job of CMS is to protect their players. And can I just say that CMS dropped the ball on that one? I wasn't there.
I got to let Ken say, I'm a CMS employee, so I can't really say too much.
CMS dropped the ball on Garringer. You're putting a lot of kids in danger. It's not cool.
But and they fight. They don't keep fighting. There's some good kids.
Absolutely. All right, so that's the best to last for week 2. We're gonna jump into the blitz right now. Mecklenburg County week 2 games. So Big Friday is back. Ironically, they're playing on Saturday, but it's called Big Friday.
I'm going that. Hey, I'm going that game.
We got Richmond County coming up the road, up 74 to take on the Butler Bulldogs. We've seen Richmond County, they pretty much had their way with Mount Tabor. They jumped out to like a 42-7 lead and a 56-41 victory. And then Butler, as we mentioned earlier, playing Oceanside, won 34-0.
They look good, though.
Yeah.
They look good.
Absolutely. So you look at Richmond County, they got a really strong offensive line, led by Braxton Butler. He came to one of our camps, was offensive line MVP, 6'3", 300-plus pounds. He's a big, nasty mauler, and they got a couple other ones over there that can get the job done. And they got another Hood at quarterback, Kellen Hood. Wears number 7, very talented kid, athletic, just like his brother Caleb up in North Carolina. A little smaller, not the same size, but they do a lot of.
Where you at? In the submarine?
It's a mess. Anyway, what are you guys' thoughts on Richmond and Butler?
What are our thoughts about your connection still in Cleveland? Good gracious.
Somebody did something to my house while I was gone, man. That's crazy.
Your connection still in Cleveland. God, oh.
I've said this before. Kudos to Coach Hales and Butler, man. He is willing to play anybody, anywhere. Kudos to Richmond County for making this huge game happen week 2. Some coaches don't mind playing a big game like this week 1 because it's what you talk about all summer long. And you say Richmond County. But they're playing at week 2, man. Kudos to both coaches for ducking no smoke and for going for a big-time game.
Go ahead, Kev. Take over while you go.
So the second game is Julius Chambers at Highland Springs. The Mud Boys are going up the highway. I noticed in Virginia, so I guess they're going up 85. I don't know anything about Highland Springs, but they're going to take the trip up the interstate to Highland Springs. Once again, another team that ain't ducking no smoke, in part because a whole lot of people were ducking smoke from them. But Julius Chambers, man, they look good. Week 1, went to Cardinal Gibbons and won a super tight game with a long delay. I think it was like 4 hours. They got back like 4:30. But what you guys think about the way that Chambers performed last week versus a very good, potentially a state title game caliber Cardinal Gibbons?
I think they showed the heart of a real champion. They weren't afraid to back down. They scheduled a legitimate, great out of conference opponent. And to me, when you want to build, sustained success, those are the kind of programs you want to measure your program against. So, and they're doing it. You got to give kudos to them again. They're literally scheduling another out of non-conference
Powerhouse.
great opponent. Yes, and to all y'all watching, I suggest you Google Highland Springs because they're no slouches at all. Look them up.
They're VA powerhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed. So definitely look them up. But kudos to Chambers for scheduling two powerhouses, what I call optional powerhouses, 2 weeks in a row. So,
Well, and
definitely
that's what I was
kudos
going to
to them.
say. I feel like at this point, Chambers feels like they still have a lot to prove to people. We've talked about them, for a couple seasons, now, and some people have doubted them, myself included, last season. So, and now they're going, to Virginia. I mean, you can laugh. It is what it is. I'm about show and prove, and they've shown and proved. And I feel like now they're taking it.
But the reason why I laugh,
They're kind of on the same plane as like back when I was at Independence, and they were doing the same thing. They were playing teams all over the U.S. pretty much. Wherever they could get a good team to come to them, that's what they were doing.
but
And,
the only reason
it's
why I
impressive.
laugh, I'm not. It's just like even with that game against Gibbons, before it got delayed, it was 35-9. So that's why when people were saying, "Do I believe it was a close game?" I don't think that game have got played the regular time. It was not been close. It was, you look at. We all knowing now on week one, you gotta come prepared. You might have a long delay, and you need to bring food and make sure you keep them kids energized. So I'm not saying you're wrong for your take. They always got to show and prove. When you're the champ, you got, like you said, when Independence was running, hey, they had to show and prove every week. But they earned the right. Hey, they earned the right to have that respect. Not saying that you don't respect them, but that's a good game. If I was feeling courageous, I would drive up there. I might try to jump on the bus. That's some good football.
Yeah, and can we talk about what an amazing experience these past 2 weeks, last week and this week, is going to be for the Chambers football players? I mean, the stories that they're going to tell about the 4-hour lightning delay or whatever it was up there at Cardinal Gibbons. Yeah. And then the very next week, I'm assuming they took a charter bus last week. I saw the picture that they jump back on the charter bus again and they head up to Highland Springs. I mean, these are experiences that they'll never forget. In 1998, we took a trip to Franklin, North Carolina, which is about as far west as you can go. And we spent the night at a hotel for a playoff game. My wife was a cheerleader. We still talk about that periodically. Just the experience of back then getting on the little 25 cents payphone to home to me. I call it a girlfriend, which is why my wife still brings it up sometimes. Just incredible experiences for Chambers. So kudos to Coach Ferb and those guys for setting it up. The next game on the list was the return of Coach Griner. West Charlotte going back to Hardin. Of course, obviously Hardin is 1-0. Of course, West Charlotte, we just mentioned, did not play last week. Coach Phillips, you're a West Side guy, man. What are your thoughts on West Charlotte at Hardin?
It's gonna be a good tone setter. Them guys they did 7-on-7 against each other and the little Panther thing they had. There's always bad blood between West Charlotte and Hardin. It was like that when I was in school. It was always battle of the bands. We really, I know I got Hardin people in here. We really didn't call it a game. We were not worried about the football game. We were more worried about the battle of the bands. But like I said, I can't talk bad about Hardin program right now as of day because of what they did to us last Friday. West Charlotte is very improved. I think people don't be surprised at the product they put out there. Everybody talking about Chance, Big Chance Morrow, but they got other things over there. Josh, the quarterback, if Josh come ready to play this Friday, it's gonna be a nice game. Great game for him. That defense, shout out to my boy Coach Cam, who be working the camp with me. He don't be calling that defense, and he's gonna do I'm very excited for him.
I would actually like to go to this game if nobody else is going to call this game because of what I saw, Harding do last week, and they had a lot of energy. They played, what I consider to be, some pretty solid football. And so I want to see if they bring that same energy against this West Charlotte team. And then on top of that, having Coach Griner back, that's, just a little extra motivation, I feel like, for Harding. So I would really.
Oh, yeah, they motivate. I'll talk to a coach tomorrow. They motivate. There ain't gonna be no cakewalk.
I'm talking about Harding. I'm not talking about West Charlotte.
No. I'm talking about Harding too. Ain't gonna be no cakewalk from that show. No, hey.
Yeah.
It's some blood. It's blood. It's a blood battle right here.
I would like to watch this game.
If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. Hickory Ridge at Charlotte Catholic is another big game. What do you guys think on that one?
Big game. I think Juke. He wants the big game. He wants to smoke it. He showed everybody last Friday. Hey, Hickory Ridge is now a powerhouse in the 4A division in Charlotte. So but Catholic, they always find a way to win. So you never count Catholic out. So I'm very curious about that game.
Yeah, another huge game. Another kudos to these coaches for making this game happen week 2. Hickory Ridge, who wants to be considered as one of the elite 4A programs in the state. And in order to do that, you've got to play the top teams, and you've got to play them consistently, and you can't back down. And there are very few bigger teams in the state than Charlotte Catholic. So Coach Wilson, he's going to bring that big old offensive line that he has. He's going to bring his stud wide receiver. He's going to bring his defense that lays the wood. And they're going to go up against probably the most technically sound, the most well-coached up team that they'll see all year, and it's going to be a huge challenge. I mean, one thing I don't know about them this year, but what we all know about Charlotte Catholic is they're always going to be well coached. They're always going to do everything right. They're going to have very few penalties. In a game against West Catholic, you cannot commit stupid penalties. You can't have that 15-yarder. You can't jump off sides on defense whenever it's 3rd and 3. You cannot give them free yards. And Hickory Ridge is going to have to bring their A game. I think that this is a great game. I think that it may be the game definitely on this part of the state of the night on Friday night, seeing that Richmond and Butler are playing on Saturday and Chambers is playing up in Virginia. So I'll be watching this game to find out how the heck this game pans out.
All right, and then our final featured game, South Meck at Providence. We kind of alluded to it earlier. What are you guys' thoughts there?
Hey, this is a testing game too. It's a lot of inside stuff, but we don't see how for real South Meck is. I know a lot of people are crowning them after the Catholic game, which they deserve. They played them close, but can they get over the hump? This is the game. If Coach Joe Evans, I'm safe as win. Hey, you don't have to put a lot of respect on their name. And everybody is. I saw how high y'all have them ranked. They're in the top 10. Do I think they deserve it? Yes, but now they got to live up to it. Providence, the thing over here is now, can anybody stop Jamar? Okay, if you can't stop Jamar Price, it's going to be a long night for you. And then John Bounce is playing lights out, and then they got Gibson down the back. It's just, hey, Providence dangerous.
Yeah, Jamal Price went over 200 last week, right?
230.
I knew it was something like that. Yeah.
We got a grandfather clock on this show now.
Any other thoughts on these guys? God, I'm nutty.
Nah, Peppy, what's going on, man?
I'm going to have to reboot the whole thing over here. I'm just going to try to get through the show, man. All right, next one we got Union County. All right, what are you guys thinking on these games here?
Let me think.
It's not very often that you see a public school play 2 private schools back to back. I mean, much less in the season. Traditionally, you don't want to play private schools because you're afraid they're going to recruit your kids. Going up against Providence Day, a huge day.
Only on CFI we get the true facts.
Good gracious. Providence Day's first game. I'm excited to see, how, Coach Greer's offense matches up against the Weddington defense that is very stingy, for sure. Cuthbertson coming off a big win over Parkwood. Coach Trey Kavanaugh going back home to Ardrey Kell. That's going to be a nice homecoming. And then Piedmont and Monroe, 2 0-1 teams. Does Monroe bounce back? Piedmont lost to Forest Hills 22-8.
They'll bounce back.
Monroe gets their groove back.
Yeah, I told y'all my wrist.
We'll get to that in a minute. All right. Cabarrus County. Kenneth, what you got?
Well,
all great games.
J.M. Robinson, another strange occurrence. J.M. Robinson is played at Central for the second straight year, just the way that the new redistricting and conference alignments happen. J.M. Robinson does not feel like they played very well last week. They shut out Concord, but they were not happy with their performance offensively. Their defense played lights out. Held Concord in check, gave them short field all night long, and bowed their backs and kept them out of the end zone. Central Cabarrus obviously struggled last week versus a better than I thought Mount Pleasant team. Of course, Coach Johns, we've talked about him numerous times. Northwest Cabarrus got shut out last week versus West Cabarrus, which was a game that I did not see happening. Cox Mill, of course, won. So it'll be interesting to see how Cox Mill continues to grow. I told you guys last year to watch Cox Mill, and sure enough, they started winning games late. And I told you in the preseason, Cox Mill is going to be a surprise team coming out of Cabarrus County. And then Porter Ridge at West Cabarrus. Of those games, this game should be the best of those three games.
Yeah, West Cabarrus getting that win over Northwest last week. 1-0 on the season. Porter Ridge 1-0 over Rocky River last week. Excited to see, that one for sure. All right. Gaston County, we got South Point at East Gaston. Both of those teams 1-0. A lot of excitement at East Gaston. That's going to really tell us about East Gaston, I think, in this one. East Lincoln at Forest View. East Lincoln, the offensive juggernaut. Forest View, very strong on defense. Tale of two games right there. And then the Cabarrus Stallions going up to Mountain Island. Mountain Island coming off the big win over Anson County. They're having their knighting ceremony, so this is a big night, for Mountain Island. I'm really watching that South Point East Gaston, though. And then East Lincoln Forest View could be interesting, too. Forest View almost pulling the upset over Burns. So, thank you for the update, Joe. As I said, this stuff is crazy. So, no game for Mountain Island Charter this week, so scratch that. But
no game for Pet Man either.
Fight through it, Pep.
Look,
I got some jokes.
Cleveland County, what you got? What you got, Cleveland County? God Almighty, I swear.
That's all we gonna say every week.
Almighty Shelby going against AC Reynolds, coming off a big win.
I'm excited.
Now that Chris Burns game might be good.
I don't want to talk because as soon as I start talking, this thing just acts crazy, man. AC Reynolds is younger though this year, so I think Shelby has a big favorite there. But the Kings Mountain Asheville game, is one that I think we got to watch. Asheville looked strong in preseason scrimmages, so that one's going to be interesting. But Crest and Burns, I think that one is going to be the game in Cleveland County for sure. Burns, very strong defensively. Crest not playing yet. They had the game scheduled against Pisgah. Pisgah had the big flood up there. So obviously they, didn't play in week 1. So, all right. What we got next? Upstate. All right, some good games. Catawba Ridge Nation Ford. I'm excited about that one. I expect a lot of points in that game. Indian Land at Northwestern. I expect an angry
Ooh.
Northwestern team to come out and try to atone for their big loss last week to South Point. And then obviously we got the news about South Point, so they're not playing Rock Hill. Rock Hill is looking for a game, so for this Friday. So there you go for that. Any thoughts on those guys?
Great job, Pep.
Joe Hughes, I'm going to Chris Burns. Asheville's QB is dynamic and going to give Kings Mountain fits. So, there you go.
Paperboy supposed to come on the team. Retro.
I'm brand new teaching elementary school as of this week, and Pep's internet is about as worthless as me trying to corral second graders today. It ain't happening. It's no good.
Oh, that's right. You are elementary school teaching right now.
Second graders just run crazy.
Oh, y'all see it. Y'all see it. No, we ain't talking about you. You're 3-3. That's 6-0. Big Billups.
How does 4 and 2 show up as third on this? Should it be in order?
It's not in order.
Okay.
Pep's order, I guess.
It's like Porter Ridge was above Martin Ridge.
Look at that. At least I won something this week. It's crazy.
We were all thinking.
Oh God!
I was on Biggie Knee. I was on Biggie Knee on the way home Friday. Hey, I'm hearing you too.
Yes, Joe. Yes, Joe. Absolutely. Absolutely. God Almighty, this is
Hey, Pep, when Joe come back, hey, he part of the paper boys now. He gonna come home. He's a paper boy for real.
All right, predictions. Here we go.
Ready.
Down the line.
Oh,
Kenneth.
I'm gonna stick with my Cabco boys. Hickory Ridge.
Queen.
I'm gonna go Catholic.
Producer.
Charlotte Catholic.
Illustrious.
I'm going Hickory Ridge.
I got Hickory Ridge. Providence Day at Weddington. Kenneth.
Weddington.
I got Weddington.
I got Weddington also. I don't know if you heard it, but I got Weddington as well.
Hey, I got Weddington too.
Yay, Providence Day. Providence Day. Kenneth. Porter Ridge at West Cabarrus.
We'll go with Porter Ridge on this one.
Queen.
I'll go Porter Ridge.
Producer.
West Cabarrus.
Illustrious.
I'm going with Porter Ridge.
I got Porter Ridge. East Lincoln at Forest View. Kenneth.
East Lincoln.
Queen.
East Lincoln.
Producer.
East Lincoln.
Illustrious.
East Lincoln.
Give me Forest View. Kings Mountain at Asheville. Kenneth.
Pep is gone tonight. You know what? I'm going with the Mountaineers on this one.
Queen.
I'm gonna go Asheville.
Producer.
Kings Mountain.
Illustrious.
I'm going Asheville.
Give me Asheville because that guy made me mad earlier. Finally, Catawba Ridge at Nation Ford. Kenneth.
Catawba Ridge.
Queen.
I'll take Catawba Ridge.
Producer.
Catawba Ridge.
Illustrious.
Catawba Ridge.
I'm going to go with the clean sweep in Catawba Ridge. Those are the Week 2 game predictions. If you have your predictions, please post them in the comments or send them to me. I'm talking fast because my connection only works every 1.5 minutes. So there we go. All right. That being said, Is it slime time?
Yes.
Did I get everything? All right.
I
Cool.
think we all know who we're slamming tonight.
It's slime time. Let's go, Kenneth.
You know what? Pep's internet is working at the moment. So, Pep, we're going to jump right back to your screen, brother. Who are you slamming tonight?
I'm trying. I'm trying. What in the world?
Oh, you got to pay the bills. You and Justin, man.
I did.
Y'all must be on the same provider.
I paid my bills, man. I'm sliming Spectrum. I didn't know this was happening. It's been a crazy day. I was in Cleveland for a security conference this morning. I flew back. The flight was cool. We got to the airport. There was lightning. I'm like, who gets stuck in a lightning delay in the airport? I fly one time a year and I get a lightning delay. The lightning ruined the CFI Classic. It ruined any scrimmages I tried to cover. I was going to slime lightning, but now I'm sliming Spectrum because I think this weather has messed up my internet. It's been a ridiculously unhinged show. I don't like it. I'm mad. Spectrum, you're slimed along with the lightning, and I'm done.
I love it, Pep. We're going to keep going down the line, and we're going to go with my man that's in the car before he's got to get out of his car. Coach Billups, who are you slamming this week? His microphone.
I'm definitely slamming Pep internet because it's terrible. Hold on, my audio messed up. Pep don't mess my God, dog. Pep, you don't tore my stuff up. I really ain't got nothing to slime. Like I said, I'm sliming myself because I was very upset on Friday, but I'm coming back for war on Friday, so that's who I'm slamming, myself.
The Queen. Who are you slamming on tonight?
Okay, first of all, Coach Billups, you handled yourself rather well considering the circumstances, so I'll give you that one. I don't know if this has already been a slime, but I'm just going to slime them again just because, I mean, this is some foolishness. So my younger brother, actually, 31 years old, we were watching, we were talking about the news, and he was saying that, people should read a book, whatever. And then he starts to show me these fools on these freaking milk crates. So I'm sliming the milk crate challenge. I don't know if it's already been done. He told me that they have milk crates on sale actually at Walmart right now for 99 cents. So they're actually taking people's money to harm themselves, bring bodily harm to themselves. So I'm sliming these people who are actually paying money to do said milk crate challenges. That's all I got.
The bad thing is I'm sitting here in my head trying to figure out how much money that would cost to buy that amount of crates at Walmart. And I think I got $36. $36 to puncture a lung and break a rib cage. No, thank you very much. Y'all can go and eat some Tide Pods and do your milk crate challenge because y'all are crazy. And then I heard that South Carolina's football players were doing it. That's why you are where you are, South Carolina Gamecock Nation. The producer, who are you slamming on tonight?
I get them all the time, man. I got them last year. I got to get them again. I got to slime the EA Sports for putting out another lackluster, unimpressive Madden 22. It's just, I hate that the NFL allows this exclusivity to go on, man. We need some other companies making football games. It's just unimpressive, same old stuff, nothing to get excited about. Sliming EA Sports yet again.
I'm with you. If I played Madden, I'm sure that I would agree with you. My boys found my PS2 a few weeks ago, and so they have been begging me for 3 weeks. Daddy, can I please play Madden 2009 on your PS2? And I won't let them do it. They're just not ready for it yet. Oh, Pep. You can do it, Pep. We got pixels now. All right. And then lastly, for my slum, I've got to admit, it's been a pretty good sticking week this week. I started my first week in elementary school. Holy cow, I have never been more tired in my life. If you've ever taught elementary school, kudos to you. Elementary school teachers should be paid double, even triple what any high school teacher makes. I got home the first day and all of my people who taught middle school just were sending me gifts of people crashing in their beds or crashing on their couch. So I'm sliming my endurance level. Holy cow. I went to bed so early last night. I've never gone to bed that early in all of my life. Like, it was so early that the Jersey Shore, they weren't even up yet from the previous night. That's how early I went to bed last night. So I'm sliming, being an old man. And then one of the kids asked me today how old I was. And I realized, this is a little bit scary, I'm 2 days away from being 40 years old, Pep. That makes me feel very, very old.
I'm already 40. I'm old, and now I'm mad because of this stupid internet. So
I think there might have been some sabotage going on from some other internet wannabe shows, Pep.
you know what?
They're cutting your
The
connection.
paper boys, they got us.
Like Michael Scott did wherever they were watching, whatever it was they were watching.
You know, we had a discussion about the NWO earlier.
Hey, where my intro at?
You gotta have internet to make an intro. You gotta have internet to
Hey, look,
download
he's
the song.
froze. Look at that look at that pose.
Right.
Yeah, leave him alone.
Is he moving? Is he moving?
We don't know.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Blink, man, if you can see us, man.
Can I just say there's one show that's for the children, and that's CFI Football Focus Weekly.
CFI is for the children. Remember that.
I would agree with that.
Like Wu-Tang is for the children. CFI is for the children.
Good night, everybody.
And we got a championship belt coming.
Good
All
night.
those spray face CFI on the WCW belt.
That'll be pretty nice.